Hi, Facebook. All right. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes before I get going into things to let people kind of log on and get themselves ready and make sure we're actually working properly here. All right. My Y keeps going sideways. There we go. All right. As you're getting onto Facebook, throw me a little comment. Let me know you're there. Say hey. WebEx, you can do the same in the chat if you want. I can't see the chat feed right now. I can only see that people are logging in. If you're coming on to Facebook, you don't have to worry about muting your microphone or anything because I can't hear you. But if you guys are coming on to WebEx, make sure that your microphone's muted so there isn't any background noise while I'm doing things. If you're on Facebook and you know me, or you actually went to school with me when I was at YSU for my bachelor's work, give me a little hi. Let me know who's out there. It's good to see people logging on and doing things with this. I'm excited to do this tonight. As you guys are coming on, we're going to just wait a minute or two to kind of let people log in and get themselves set, get cozy. It's not going to be an extremely long talk, but I do plan on talking a little bit with you guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks for coming in on WebEx as well. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but it's nice to actually have gotten dressed for this today. I haven't been doing too much as far as getting that cleaned up as each day goes, but feels good to get dressed for some things sometimes still. Hi, Heather. Oh no, I lost the WebEx cam. Hang on one sec. Okay. Let's try fixing that a little bit. All right. Sorry, WebEx people. Hopefully you can still see me. I had to adjust things a little bit here. Looks like I'll have to adjust on live as well. And then we are going to get rolling. There we go. Okay, hope you guys can see me all right. Welcome to our live webinar, the first live webinar on Facebook for the Alumni Engagement Series. I'm going to wait about 1 or 2 more minutes, let people log on to WebEx or let them log on to Facebook, and then we'll get rolling with our information tonight. Tonight I'm going to talk about addressing our wellness and the different dimensions of wellness when we're in challenging times, and kind of talk about each dimension and some of the things that we can do now to help with that area in the times that have happened to us recently. All right. Okay. So I'm hoping you guys can see me. I'm going to go ahead and get us going here. So welcome to our first Alumni Engagement live Facebook webinar. My name is Tammy Sos. I am a graduate of the class of 2005, and I graduated from YSU with my bachelor's in exercise science. I've been in the exercise and wellness field for about 16 years. And I'm currently teaching part-time at YSU. I've been teaching since the fall of 2016. And I'm also the Employee Wellness Director at Ohio Living Breckenridge Village, which is a senior care facility in Northeast Ohio. I am working on my PhD in Health and Human Performance. I'm just on the tail end of that. So hopefully not too much longer, but I'm coming up to the big chunk of the dissertation work, which will be a little bit of work. Also, I love teaching. I love doing these talks. I'm so thankful that Heather and Jackie reached out to me from the Alumni Association to see if I would do this. I'm very, very happy to do it. What I'm going to do tonight is I'll go over some different areas, and then I'm going to stop about midway, give you guys a chance to ask questions if you have any, or make any additional comments or anything like that. And then we'll kind of go into the second part of it. So we're going to talk about how to adjust and how to address our wellness in challenging times. There's a lot of change happening right now, and it's happening very, very fast. Some things have been pushed to the wayside because of that. So we're talking about how to bring those things back, or sometimes people are unsure of how to address those things now that there's been so much change. So we'll talk a little bit about what we can do and what we can take control of and take back. So WebEx, there's a chat we can look at. Facebook Live, feel free to throw your comments in, your questions in, but I will address them about halfway through. I'm not going to be able to talk and read and try to bounce around at the same time. Okay? So what we're going to talk about today is whole person wellness. So there's 6 dimensions that go into feeling whole and being well, and different areas that we can address to do that. So today we're going to talk about spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social, physical, and then environmental, occupational. Okay, so our first one, is going to be about the spiritual dimension. So there we go. Sorry, I lost you guys there for a moment. So in the spiritual dimension, a lot of people automatically think that that means the religious aspect of things. And it can include religion, but it's not necessarily 100% just religion. It's basically seeking meaning and purpose, and the development of personal ethics and values, and then how we lead our lives and make choices and decisions based off of those ethics and those values. So it's really about development of those and exploration of those. What matters to us? What do we value? What do we kind of live by? Our rules of thumb kind of thing. So one of the things we need to do a lot of times, and not only in a time of being challenged or going through a difficult situation, but it's not a bad idea to check in every now and then anyways, and look at what you really value most. Just look at the people that you value, the things that you kind of use as your guiding lights and your guiding morals, and really the things that you make mindful decisions based on, your beliefs, your values. Some examples of how we can work on this during this time of being challenged or being in a difficult situation is, from the religious aspect, a lot of churches have begun to offer online sermons or online events that you can attend. Something that really is helpful right now is believing in positivity and eluding positivity. So, eluding optimism as well. It's really easy to get caught up in talking about the negatives and focusing on the negatives. We are bombarded with news right now on a daily basis, and a lot of it's not great news. So it's important to really try to be that person that looks at the bright side and looks at the positive of things or finds that silver lining in things. Connecting with yourself and others more kind of helps us as well. A lot of people refer to this as grounding. So just to kind of check back in with yourself and say, what really matters to me right now, and how can I focus on that, and how can I work on that while I'm, going through this time with myself. Some other ways to address this: meditation is often used. Meditation is a great way to practice stillness. It's a great way to kind of not only clear the mind, but think about specific things, or try not to think about specific things. Prayer, oftentimes people find some solace in that during times. Other things that help with your mindfulness aspect, like breathing exercises, stillness exercises. Journaling is a really good way as well to not only get things out of your head, but to also reflect and give yourself time to reflect. So sometimes people have a worry journal, where that way they can unload it off their mind, write it down, get it out and done and away. Other times people have a gratitude journal. So you can write in each day what you're grateful for, and you can kind of make yourself find that ray of sunshine or that good thing in the day. Even if you've had a day of a lot of bad things happening or a lot of challenging situations. Self-care is really what will help you feel more in control. It will help you feel calmer. And we can't take care of others until we are okay and until we've taken care of ourselves. So part of that comes along with accepting and identifying what you can and cannot control. Okay, so in our spiritual wellness, again, we're just kind of trying to develop those personal ethics and values that help us find a purpose, help us feel like we're part of something bigger, and kind of brings us some peace or brings us, some of that grounding feeling. So our next one is intellectual. So with intellectual wellness, that is where we are doing activities or taking on behaviors that assist us with positive development and the creative use of our mind. So right now especially is a great time to tap into that creativity, because there's so many things that have changed or that we're not able to do or go to or participate in. So we got to get creative a little bit. So take this time. I was watching a person the other day just do a quick little blurb on Facebook, and she was talking about how, some of us have to stay at home right now, and some of us may not be getting paid to do that. So get your money's worth while you're at home. Take this time to catch up on things or learn something or get back to something. Learn a new language. Try, furthering your education about something in your field. One of the things I'm excited about is I actually have a stack of journals from my field that I haven't been able to really sit down and look at. And I like to do that not only to catch up myself on what's going on out there, but to see if there's anything I can pass along to my students and give them a heads up of, hey, this is going on in our field right now, or this is up and coming. So now I've got the time to do that. I can sit down, take a look at these things, and get them out there for my students and to learn a little bit more for myself. Some other things to think about too is this might be a really good time to get back to the basics. Sometimes those kinds of things actually help us and they feel better, they feel well. Reading a book again. Things like coloring again or doodling. I picked up a coloring book a couple weeks ago, and I have been coloring on and off every now and then, and it feels good. It's just kind of mindless activity, but I don't even know the last time I colored something. Doing things that maybe make you think a little bit more, like Sudoku or crossword puzzles or word finders, things like that are challenge your brain in a different way than just sitting down and learning something or sitting in a classroom for school. If you are crafty, maybe getting back to doing that craft because you've got a little more time now, or learning a new craft. Finding a hobby. Some people don't have a hobby. They don't have time to do that. Now might be your time to find that out. So it's not a bad idea to really, again, get your money's worth of this time and take the time to learn something new or learn something even about yourself. Maybe you didn't know you could do something before and now you've got the time to try it out. So expand that knowledge. They always say knowledge is power. So use that time to increase your power. Okay, the third realm is emotional. So emotional wellness is the awareness and acceptance of your feelings and having the capacity to manage those feelings when you're feeling them, when you're faced with challenging or stressful situations, but at the same time accepting those feelings too. Those feelings are real. An emotionally well person is someone who people would often describe as, a person that wears their heart on their sleeve. They're comfortable with their emotions, they recognize what those are, and they've got no problem, sharing those emotions or showing them when they feel something. Right now is a very stressful time for a lot of people. So a lot of the emotions we're seeing and experiencing are fear or anxiety or worry or anger. And a lot of times we're feeling those because we're feeling a lack of control. So one of the very first things that you need to do when you're feeling something like that, in a challenging time or not, recognize exactly, why am I feeling this right now? What exactly is making me feel this way? And then do something about it. Okay, we can't just let it sit there and simmer on the burner because then it's going to boil. So we need to figure out what is it that's causing this and then do something about it. So this way we're now being proactive in our emotional wellness as opposed to being reactive. So some of the things that we can do to help with this is recognizing what that is and doing something about it when we feel it. Seeking out things that make us feel good. Okay, so like I said earlier, it's really easy to get into the negative and get into the worry and kind of let those wheels turn. It's important to redirect that energy and look for the positive. Something I discovered the other day, John Krasinski, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him or not, but he's an actor. He was big on The Office. He actually started on his Facebook page a little news episode that he does called Some Good News. And he spends time just highlighting good news, just highlighting positive things that have happened or positive people that are making a difference. So it's kind of nice to watch it. You're probably going to choke up in tears when you do because it's cool to see those kinds of things. But again, it's specifically focused on feeling good and finding happiness. Connect with somebody that, maybe shares the same kind of humor you do. Help each other out with laughter and kind of relieving that stress a little bit in that way. I have a friend that every now and then we send each other a meme, and it's usually a Mike Tyson meme. So no offense to Mike Tyson, but he makes really good memes. So we send them to each other just to make sure the other one can laugh for the day, or just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Here's something. I hope it makes your day better if you're not having a good day. Again, journaling helps with this as well. So take that gratitude journal. Write down what you're thankful for. Write down what you're happy about. Write down what went well today and what you're liking. Another new concept is something called forest bathing or nature bathing. And it's basically a way to kind of reconnect with yourself without distraction. So a lot of times a person will go and they'll sit in nature somewhere, some kind of a natural setting. And they just kind of take the time to breathe the air and hear the sounds around them and not be distracted by anything else and just feel that calm, feel that sense of good and positivity come over them from nature. So it might not be a bad idea to try that. Right now is a great time to go to parks, and there's plenty of them in Northeast Ohio and Ohio in general. Ohio has very beautiful park areas to go to. Also on that note, April is Stress Awareness Month, so it's especially important to really kind of keep an eye on that. And we know that stress is inevitable. It's not going anywhere, but what matters is that we manage it when we're feeling it. Again, we do something about it. We don't bottle it up, we don't put it away. We really try hard to address it and do something about it, whether that's find an outlet for it or write it down or whatever you need to do. The other thing that you can do is there's a website called goodnewsnetwork.com. Same thing as what I said earlier. They focus on everything good. They give you great ideas. They give you great stories. They give you things that will make you happy. It's anything from puppies and kittens to good people and good deeds. And if you can't smile at a puppy and a kitten, we got to talk. So that's a good one to look at as well. Speaking of emotional wellness, I want to take a second to tell anybody that's on here that I specifically know, my family, my friends, my coworkers. I love you guys. I miss you guys very much. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for watching this. I really appreciate the support. And at this point, we've gone over 3 of the dimensions. So if you have any questions, I'm going to give you a moment to type them into the comment section or the chat area, and I'll take a look and see if there's anything that I can answer. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get a sip of water. All right. Very good. So as you can see by my picture here earlier, we've kind of worked our way down, and we're going to go to the second half here. So we're going to talk about social, physical, and environmental or occupational wellness. So our next one being social wellness. This is the creation and maintenance of healthy relationships, and I stress that, healthy relationships, and pursuing connectedness. So right now, this one's a biggie because so many of us are feeling disconnected. We can't see people, we can't touch people, we can't be around large groups of people. So right now is a very big time to really find ways that we can address this social dimension for ourselves. Surprisingly, I'm even hearing from my students that they do not like being at home. Even my 8 a.m. students miss getting up and coming to 8 a.m. class. That's a biggie for them to say that. So, it's important to find other ways to create that connectedness. Luckily, we do have resources now like FaceTime and Zoom, Facebook Live, WebEx, different ways that we can talk to people. Some things that might help with that too is actually talking on the phone, not texting. Each day I have spent the day talking to someone on the phone in person, and once a week I host open meetings for my students to come to and just talk. We can talk about class, we can talk about life, we can talk about whatever they want, but I'm just letting them know I'm there, I'm available. If they need something, they can talk to me. So some things that we can do also with this is, again, get creative. Maybe we go back to sending some letters or some cards to people, just a nice way to say, hey, I'm thinking of you, and let someone get something in the mail that's not a bill. So using stuff like that, using, online phone or phone games. I just saw a game the other day that came out that I really like playing with some of my friends. So we're going to probably try to play that game together at some point, and I'm excited for that. Visiting each other outside of a person's home. There's been a lot of stories of teachers that are having parades for their students through their neighborhoods, or people that come and maybe they talk to somebody that's inside, or they look through a window while they're talking on the phone with each other. So again, you're staying safe, you're staying healthy, but we're still trying to still get as much of that social connectedness as we can. The other thing to mention that helps with this too is, right now we kind of have a short timeline of what our future is looking like with certain things, but it's not a bad idea anyway to plan. Make plans with your friends, make plans with your family, just make them a little realistic. Make sure that You're not trying to plan something for next weekend. Maybe you're planning something in the next 6 months, or maybe a vacation next year once things are all over and hopefully we're back to our norm. It gives us hope. It gives us something to look forward to. It gives us a goal to keep our eyes on. It gives us that light at the end of the tunnel. So it's really not a bad idea to make plans. Just make sure they're slightly flexible because of, the challenging situation that we're in right now. Moving on to the physical portion, which of course I'm going to talk about because that's my field. That's what I do. Physical portion is a healthy lifestyle habits and discouraging negative or excessive behavior that could affect your health. Okay, so it could affect it in a negative way. So right now we are seeing a time in this field where there are more at-home options for people than ever before. Before we were trying to get people in the gym, get them to come to places. Now they can't. So we got to do whatever we can to offer them as much as we can. So there's tons of stuff out there for that. Planet Fitness has options for live classes. A lot of yoga studios are doing a lot of their classes online. The YSU Campus Rec Center is doing classes online that you can follow live on Facebook. Shout out to you guys. So there's lots of options. And the cool thing about this too is if you are one of those people that says, well, I don't do group stuff. I don't like group things. I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want to embarrass myself or anything. Right now is the best time to try something new and try something that would be in a group setting because you're in your living room or you're in your home by yourself or maybe just around a spouse or your kids. So this is the best time to do that because you don't have to worry about a group of people. You don't have to worry about how you look or if you're doing it right or not necessarily with the rest of the class. But try some new things and maybe you'll find some ways that can substitute at least until you can get back to what you did before, or you might find it fun to try new things in general. So this is a great time for that. On the flip side of that, if you are already a little bit more comfortable with working out on your own and have some things to do, but you're not sure what to do at home, go back to the basics. Think about gym class, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, pull-ups if you can. All of those are very good body workouts. Use your body weight as much as you can. Hold planks. See how long you can do it. If you've got a family, do a plank contest with them. There's a lot of ways that you can still use items around your house or just use your own body for that. So again, if you're looking for resources for that, check out YouTube. Check out some of the Facebook Live classes for trainers and people like that are in the field hosting these things. Try some of the campus rec stuff and just kind of see how it goes. The other thing too that I always remind people about is physical activity is still physical activity. It's work. It's still exertion, and that's a good thing. So even if you're not necessarily right in the whole exercise state of mind, doing yard work is physical activity. Doing housework is physical activity. Gardening, you're getting up and down off your hands and knees. You're pulling stuff. You're moving things. Renovating something in the house or even rearranging a room. When I was a kid, I used to get bored a lot in my bedroom and I would rearrange it all the time by myself. Drove my mom nuts. But you can do that and again, you're exerting yourself. You're getting some energy out, which also helps with stress and helps with that pent-up energy that we've got. Also with this, like I said earlier, comes with stopping negative behaviors. So because of the situation, we can't eat out as much, which is a great thing for a lot of us. So try working on cooking at home more. Try new recipes. Try those talents out. See how it goes. This might also be a great time to quit smoking. A lot of people smoke at work because work stresses them out. And if unfortunately you have to be at home and you can't be at work, you're probably in a calmer situation. So it might be a good time to try quitting things that seem to be your go-tos when you're stressed out or when you're in a certain setting. If you have kids, get the kids involved. I know a lot of parents are worried about their schoolwork and keeping them on top of things. Kids need to blow off steam as well. They need to get that energy out as well. play catch with them, play basketball with them, kick a ball with them, draw an agility ladder with chalk and do agility drills with them, or play hopscotch. Again, you're moving, they're moving, but playing around with them might be a really good way also to help with that bond with each other. Lastly, on this note, exercise is medicine. It is a natural drug. It will create positive chemicals in your body that help you feel good. So move. Make sure you're moving. Get up and go. Okay? This also helps with that anxiety. It helps with those feelings of worry and stress. It diverts that energy to something else. Our next section is about the environmental and occupational. This is a little bit of a tougher dimension for people to grasp. What it pertains to is actions, attitudes, and behaviors that support a sense of purpose and that are satisfying to a person. So this could be in your personal life, this could be professionally, this could be in your workplace, and I'm going to break it down in those two sections for you. So personally, some of the things you can do is volunteering. You know, in any way that you're able to volunteer, it's a really good idea to try and help out and however you can. Donating things, recycling helps with this. Being mindful of your impact on the environment or on those around you, being conscious of that is very helpful. On the flip side, at work, maybe, you know, achieving something or, you know, trying to get a new certification or something along those lines. Those kinds of things help us with our environment, and they help us with that sense of purpose. Thinking about the culture at work. So the place where I do the employee wellness programming, Ohio Living Breckenridge Village, we actually have a employee wellness committee that consists of staff across the campus, and their goal is to try and implement a culture of wellness. It gives them a purpose. They're trying to help spread the idea of wellness on campus. So create an environment of success, and that can even be down to your workstation at work. Set your desk up for the things you need to do the job that you're trying to do. Put things up that bring you joy in your office. Put things up that relax you in your office. You know, whatever's going to help you feel better and more grounded at your job, do it. One of the things that we're facing right now that's a challenge is that we have a lot of people who are now having to blend those two worlds and work from home, but still do their job while they're at home. So they're having a tough time adjusting, and students are in the same boat as well. I've been hearing from a lot of our students they can't figure out a schedule. They're all over the place. So one of the things you can do is try to stick to as normal of a schedule as possible. If you are supposed to be at work normally at 8 a.m., get yourself up, get dressed, and be ready to work by 8 a.m. Eat your breakfast when you usually eat your breakfast. Do your work for the morning, take a lunch break, things like that. What I told my students is when you are doing your schoolwork, make sure you're working on that topic at the time that you would normally be in that class. And keep yourself on that kind of a schedule as if you were literally going to the classroom still. Creating your workspace at home, so not in front of the TV, not doing homework in bed, not answering emails from bed unless it's, you know, not that serious of stuff, but create a space so that when you go to that space, you know this is where I'm getting work done and you can focus on that. There's a lot of distractions at home, so it's important to set that space aside and create that environment for yourself. And then lastly, set rules and parameters for yourself and those around you. I know some people with children, they're having a hard time with the kids needing help, but they're trying to still do their job. So setting times or setting parameters of, you know, when I'm in this room and this door is closed, I'm working. I need to be able to do my work uninterrupted, and some things like that. And then lastly, if you need help with stuff, ask for help. Ask for those around you. One of the things that's been very impressive about this is during this whole transition, YSU has provided the staff and students with tons of resources to help with computer stuff and tutoring and getting things set up and reporting if we're worried about certain students we haven't been hearing from and things like that. They're doing a really good job of trying to stay on top of that. And if you aren't finding those resources where you're at, be the resource. You could be that person. You could start that. So, keep an eye open for that, and, set your environment up for success. Set your environment up for what you're trying to do. So to wrap it up for you guys, some take-home points for you. Keep it simple. Don't overthink what you're doing. If you're trying to do something, especially if it's new and it seems very overwhelming, take a step back. How can I simplify this and make it a little easier? Get creative. Try to use, alternative methods. Try to see what else you can use for materials, and really try to, just think outside the box. Move more, sit less. Definitely do that as much as possible. Be forgiving of yourself and others, and be kind to yourself and others. A lot of these things are new for a lot of us. A lot of these are changes that we did not ask for, but they're here. So let's try to do the best we can and know that we're not going to address all of these dimensions all day, every day, and that's okay. But we got to keep trying anyway, and we got to do as much as we can anyway, because in the end, that's what's going to keep us going, and we need to keep going. So with that, I will take any other questions. If there's questions right now, I see one over here. Meditation apps or websites that I like. There's a lot out there. There really are. I don't have any specific ones that I use per se, but there's a lot of resources out there. Kevin Love, he's a player for the Cavs. He's been really great at promoting certain companies and sites and just the whole mindfulness and mental health perspective. So he might be a good person to look up and see what he works with and talks about. Any suggestions for students who may battle any type of anxiety, depression, or internal struggles, and how to handle this independently? During feelings like that and times like that, it is even more challenging when you are by yourself, because all you've got is you, and that can be a challenge. So what I would say first is, if you can reach out to somebody, even if it's just to vent that anxiety or get those off your chest, do that. Otherwise, it might be good to journal, and again, just write those things down, get them out of your head for a little bit. The other good thing that you can do is something that's distracting. So do an activity, do something other than what is causing that anxiety at the moment or causing those feelings. And when all else fails, go outside. Go outside. Okay, if you're stressed, go outside. If you're anxious, go outside. If you're not feeling well, go outside. Get some air. Reset yourself. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? I'll give you a moment to type them up here. All right. If you want to get in touch with me and you have more questions, or you want to talk any more about things, I'm totally open for help. You can find me on Facebook. You can also email me at tesos@ysu.edu, and I'd be happy to talk and help you as well. For some closing things real quick, I just want to say thank you again to Heather Belgian and Jackie Levisher. Jackie, I hope I said that right. They are with the Office of Alumni and Events, and they reached out and asked me to do this. I'm so happy that they did. I loved this, and I was very, very happy to do this for you guys. They are looking for future speakers and hosts of events, and if you want to do something like this, like I just did, please reach out to them and let them know. You can go on the Facebook page for it, or you can look them up and get in touch with them. Also, there is a survey to fill out about this talk when we're done here. It's at ysu.edu/alumni lecture survey, all at once there, alumni lecture survey. So ysu.edu/alumni lecture survey. So one more time, thank you guys again. I really had a great time doing this. I hope you got something out of it. Please be well. Please take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll get through this challenging time together and a little easily.